Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Friday, September 26th. Happy Friday everyone. 6:23 right now. We got market opening up in about 7 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and mark up liquidity over here real quick and we'll get started shortly with our analysis for today. Momentum breakout for today is looking like a buy. So if you guys are looking to take the momentum breakout with me today, it's going to be a buy. As you guys know, my main focus, probably moving forward, is really going to be with the momentum breakout. I'm going to be fine tuning it pretty much every day, every week, every month, trying to figure out, where the edge lies with regard to time frame that we'll be trading on, target, stop loss, etc. So I'll still be looking for scalps throughout the day, but my main focus is really going to be on the breakouts in the morning, um, which I will already know the direction by 6:20. So by 6:20 every day, or for the most part, at least for now, I'll know because we're doing it on the 10-minute time frame. So yeah, direction for the breakout today is going to be a buy if anybody's looking to take it. So let's see what's here so far. Morning Karen, morning Maria, morning Singh, morning Hindsight, morning Daniel, morning David, morning everybody. All right, looks like people are still making their way in. So as people make their way in, I'm going to finish marking up the liquidity over here. 30-minute, 15-minute, 10-minute. And lastly, 1 minute over here. All right, looks like we are good to go. So good morning, everybody. Looks like people are still making their way in. But today is Friday, September 26th. Happy Friday, everyone. 6:25 right now. We got market opening up in about 5 minutes. If you guys are just joining in, direction for the breakout today is going to be a buy for anybody who's looking to take it with me. We got 5 minutes. We got some time here before market opens up. So I've marked up liquidity over here. Closest level of liquidity above is at 46,484. Closest level of liquidity below is at 46,460. Looking over here at the overall trend, market structure and trend is currently on the lower time frame. It's bullish. So 1 minute over here is bullish. 5 minute is bullish. 15 minutes bullish. Price is above the pivots. Trend meter is green. Pivots are angling up. Looking over here on the 30-minute, it is also bullish. Price is above the pivots. Trend meter is green. Pivots are angling up. 1 hour over here, price is currently bearish, and price is currently neutral on the 4 hour. So we're currently in a bullish neutral overall market trend. Looking over here at the market structure, it is currently bullish across the board. So it's currently neutral on the 1 minute, bullish on the 5, bullish on the 15, bullish on the 30, bullish on the 1 hour, and bullish on the 4 hour. So market structure wise, price is very bullish. So with that being the case, bias for today is probably going to be bullish, of course. Looking over here at the overall outlook of the market for the day, it is going to be neutral to slightly bullish with medium conviction. The fundamentals lean bullish. Benay, PCE, resilient consumer spending, Fed easing bias, while technicals show consolidation with upside potential but resistance overhead. Bias is modestly bullish, but conviction is capped by supply zones and intraday choppiness. So we'll see what happens here. We have a 7 out of 10 alignment score for a bullish move for the day. So everything here is kind of pointing towards a buy, right? Overall market structure, overall market bias, overall trend, everything here is kind of pointing towards buy. So if you guys want to take trades for the day, obviously I think your buy should be for a buy. Our breakout today is also going to be for a buy. So I will be looking for that shortly when market opens up. Um, and we'll kind of see where this ends up taking us. But all right, looks good. So, hey, Brock, morning. Sam, morning. All right, looks like pretty much everyone's here for the most part. We got market opening up in about a minute. So we got a minute 50 until market open here. I'm looking for the buy here for the breakout if anybody is looking to take it with me. I'll be flipping back and forth here between the orb. So the orb over here as well. I'll mark this up as price continues to move along. I'm gonna stick with the 2 minute orb, guys. I know last week we kind of shifted to the 5 minute orb, but the thing is, market starts to flatten out after the first couple minutes. So like I think the 2 minute orb is still gonna be superior compared to the five. So we'll see what happens here shortly. But again, if you guys are looking to take the breakout with me, it is going to be a buy. We got a minute left, so we got some time here. We got some time. You're looking to hop into this right before. So typically, guys, I know I've been getting this question lately. I tend to get into the breakout like maybe a second or 2 seconds before market open. Reason for that's because of the big spike on open, right? Sometimes price spikes super heavily and we just don't have time to get in. So I got to get in right away. We got 40 seconds till market open right here. So I'll be watching until we get close to that 10-second mark and I'll be looking to take the buy here for the breakout. We got 30 seconds right here till market open. We got 20 seconds. We've got 10 seconds till market open. We got market opening up in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Market is now open.
Order submitted. Order filled.
For some reason, I'm gonna have to manually wash this. Yeah, so it looks like I got in a little late right here. I got in like really late actually. So the trade's currently running right now for me, but it's actively running openly. So I'm gonna have to watch it here. It looks like my target's super, super far below. So this is the problem with taking the breakout sometimes is that you get like this big spike on open, and I can't really see where price is currently at right now. I mean, I can see where it's at, but it's like super spiky. So I might have to manually adjust this as price continues to, obviously move along. So we got price over here kind of pushing up right now. I'm on the 10 minutes, so it's kind of hard to see. For some reason, I don't have targets on my other.
Order filled.
See, it's still running on this one. We've been getting a lot of this chop here on open. So I'm trying to follow it here because for some reason my targets aren't placed. I think I might have. This is weird. So I had to manually close it out, guys, because this thing was just too spiky. We haven't had this
Order
like
filled.
open spike happen a lot lately. This has been happening today and yesterday where you have this big spike back and forth. So I think I closed it for like a partial loss. It was weird because if you guys saw my entry over here, the entry actually happened super high. But for this specific one that showed up on my chart, the entry was like way down here. Did you guys see that? Um, yeah, I just had to close out of it because everything here was kind of like all over the place and I wasn't really able to, man, I don't know what's up with the breakout. Well, not the breakout, but just the opening spike here in the morning. So technically the entry would have happened right here, guys. So depending on where you got into this breakout, it probably would have stopped you out if not. But for some reason, my entry was like way down here. So the trade was still technically running. And what I did is I just ended up closing it out manually around break even. So I got out of that breakout right there for break even. I mean, this is probably going to push up to target, but I had to close out of it because the thing here was just way too like everything was different. All my accounts were showing different P&L. So I don't know if anybody's still in this breakout right now, but I just because it was so choppy here on open, I just ended up closing it out. Yeah, because my entry was right here. Yeah, and it looks like it probably would have hit if anybody would have held on to it. I just didn't want to hold on to it because everything was kind of all over the place with my accounts here. Um, Yeah, I don't know if anybody held on to that, but I pulled out at around break even, guys. So I made like slight profit on some accounts, slight loss on some of accounts because the entry points were all different. Um, Yeah, it's weird. We've been having a lot of this like unusual movement on market open where it's been super spiky. This happened today and happened yesterday. It didn't happen on previous days. So if you look back at the breakouts on like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then every day last week, it was pretty smooth. But the breakouts for today, if you guys saw, I mean, I wish I could have the lines up here, but you can see my buy happened at 46,428, 46,428. So my entry was way down here for the breakout. Nice. So Talanji actually got it. He held on to the full move. Nice work, Talanji. Not sure if anybody else over here ended up holding on to that. But yeah, this breakout over here was very unusual because some of my entries got in like way up here, and then some of them got in over here. So it looks like a couple, so everyone's kind of mixed. Um, nice. So Smith over here got stopped out 3 seconds after open. Stern got it for full TP. Sharon got it for full TP. And Solange got it for full TP. So unfortunately, Smith looks like me and you. We kind of got caught in the crossfire here with this kind of spiking back and forth. We haven't had it. Let me go back to the 1 minute. So this thing's been spiking back and forth the past 2 days. It doesn't usually do this. Usually it goes in one direction, right? One direction up, one direction down. This was really unusual because the opening was right here, but my entry was way down here. This is a 20-point differential, right? That's a really big slippage right there. But you can see over here, so my buy entry happened at 46,428 at 6:30, which is way down here. Yeah, Ark said I didn't trade when it doesn't run before the open, I stay out. Okay, gotcha. So Ark over here actually he stayed out of it because he mentioned, if it doesn't push in that direction immediately here before open, and this is what he did. So a little bit of a mixed result here for a lot of people. Um, I mean, this happens sometimes when we have this extreme volatility pre-market. Looking over here at the momentum is, I mean, it's pretty bullish across the board. It's bullish on the 5, 10, 15, 30, everything except the one, actually. The one in the 45. So 4 out of 2 were bullish with regard to pre-market momentum. All right, guys. Um, anyways, depends on where your entry came in from, guys. Looks like the breakout over here did hit, but I got out at about break even. Well, it's all my accounts are different. Some of them are break even, some of them are slight profit, some of them are negative, but this is pretty much what I locked in for the day. All right, so let's go back and check out our main chart here. Depending on which entry you guys got in from, there goes the breakout. The orb over here is currently the orb. So the orb over here didn't fill, guys. Looks like it already hit target before it filled. We had the orb high right here. We had the orb sell right here. Price broke and closed past the structure right here. Shot up, never came back down to fill. It already hit 40 points or 50 points. So unfortunately, no orb here. Okay, so for the first two entries for the day, we had the momentum breakout. This over here, it would have hit target for some people, would have hit stop loss for some people. It just depends on where your entry was. We just had this extreme volatility immediately on open. So market open right here at 6:30. And then we had, as you can see here, an extreme volatility spike. Price spiked down, spiked up. Depending on when you got your entry, some people got in down here, some people got in up here. Um, yeah, I mean, it just depends on when you hit entry. I'm just kind of curious. So Talanji and Sharon, did you guys get into the breakout immediately on open or did you get in like a few seconds before? I'm just curious. Because mine, I got in like maybe a second before and I got in like way down here. And Smith, when did you get in? Did you get in immediately on open or did you get in like a few seconds before? Okay, Stern got in immediately. Okay, so I could see what happened with Smith. So Smith got in 5 seconds before. I think he got in a little too early, and what happened is your entry was like way up here because it was like spiking down at that last second, right? Okay, so that makes sense. Um, yeah, Talanji said a second before, but always freezes at open due to so much going on. Yeah, I agree with you, Talanji. I'm gonna try to find a way to get in a little earlier, maybe like a few seconds before, or even like just to get like prevent getting caught in the spike. Because my spike over here, I mean, this thing was messy. Honestly, it was very messy right here for my entry. Um, I'm trying to get it a little more consistent because we can't really get in with a really messy entry like this. It just like what happened with Smith here, right? Like, I wish there was a way to time it where we can get in exactly at 6:30, but the problem with this here is that it's really hard to get that because, like what Solange said, it starts to freeze up before it gets to a certain point. So, yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Some people got it, some people didn't, but for the most part, it looks like majority of people here got it. I got out at like around break even or so. I should have just held on to it, but when price was spiking back and forth like this, because there was an issue, I wasn't able to set a TP or a stop loss. So I had to exit out manually. But all right, guys, breakout for the day, full TP right there, depending on where you got it. Uh, orb for the day, didn't fill, but if you did get in late, still full TP right there as well. Um, and then there was an MPS which just came up right here. I'm gonna try to clean this chart up a little bit. So clean up, clean up, clean up right there, clean up right there, clean that up. Um, yeah, MPS V2 right here. So we had a buy signal, price pushed up, retraced, confirmed on this green candle right here, and this is an MPS V2. So if you guys caught that right there, looks like Talanji identified that. So nice work, Talanji, if you also enter that there. Looks like two back-to-back wins there so far. Yeah, PC said you literally got in at a great level, though. I know it worked in my favor today, PC. Um, it doesn't always work out in my favor, but it worked out in my favor here. Like, yeah, I did get in at this was an amazing level to get in at because I got in at 46, 428. The open actually happened right here at 46, 46. So I basically got in for a 20-point discount. There's my buy entry right there. Yeah, uh, go figure, right? But all right, guys. So other than that, we will follow through with this. There goes the full TP for the MPS V2, 50 points. We'll continue following for other entries here. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Otherwise, we will continue following through here. Gotcha. Okay, so Talonjo here actually went 50-50 instead of 50-25. See, here's a problem with using a tight stop loss like that is that, I'm kind of curious now, Talonjo. I'm thinking, what if we did like a 50-75? All right. Kind of curious now. I mean, it's not going to be a 1 to 2, but so we're at 52%. Let me see if it increases at all. So it does increase a little bit. Yeah, it increases about like 1 to 2% profitability. Because I feel like the 25 stop loss is just a little too tight sometimes. I'll have to do some math. I'll do some calculations later. Let me just put this in my notes. Check 75, 50. Yeah, because the numbers, so right here, this is good for 75, 50, but if we do 150, the numbers aren't as good, I don't believe. So yeah, it's a big drop. See, it drops from 53% to 44%. So yeah, I might have to, let me see, I'll do the math real quick. There's no entries right now, guys, so it's okay. Price is pushing up and it's pushing down further. So I'm just gonna do the math real quick to see what the profitability looks like for 75.50. And I'll just do this. I'll do the calculations later. I'm just curious to see. So 85 times 75, 6,375 profit, 105 times 50. It's 5,250. So 6,375 minus 5,250. That's 1,125. So that's going to be I mean, it's not horrible, but it's also not super great. This is how much profit would be made using 10 contracts, doing a 75 to 50. And let me just go back to what I did earlier. The 120 obviously is not going to be good. So the 120, if we do that in a long-term perspective, it's not going to work out super well. Oh shit. Wait, my bad, guys. I think I did this wrong. I don't think I updated the chart. Yeah, my bad. I did that wrong. So 101 times 75, 89 times 50. So 7,575 minus 4,450, 10 times 5 times 3,125. Okay, so the profit is about 156,250. Now let me just do the math real quick for the other one. I'll go back to the chart real quick, guys. Don't worry. I'm just gonna do this math real quick. I'm just really curious to see which one's more profitable. Okay, 99 times 50, 91 times 25, 4,950 minus 2,275. 10 times 5 times 2,675. And I know the equation, so it's a little okay. So you're making a little more profit doing it that way. It's Talanji. So that might be the case. Might be the case right there. Yeah, so that actually the 75.25 actually makes more profit long for this is for the whole year. So I'm pulling the data from January 1st, 2025 until September 25th, 2025. So the data there is actually really good. Let's check the 120 real quick, just like so Solange, you could have the numbers here. I know, but we want to see what it looks like. 112 minus 78 times 50, 10 times 5 times 1,700. Yeah, the profits are way different. So if you do 1 to 1, you're only going to make 85,000 for the year. If you do uh 50/25, you make 133,750 for the year. And then if you do 75/50, which is not a 1 to 2, but a 1 to 1.5, you make 156,250. So this is actually the best number so far. Another one, let's just check one last one before we go back to the charts. Ed mentioned, what about 40/80? So 80/40. I'm going to base it off the win percentage. If the win percentage is lower than all the previous ones, there's no point. Wait a second. Oh, because that's a 1 to 1. Let's see. No, the win percentage is too low. We want to keep it above 50. So like the profitability here, we're trying to keep this above 50. If it goes below 50, it's not a good risk reward. So yeah, going back to what we mentioned earlier, it's not going to be a 1 to 2, but it's going to be 1 to 1.5, sort of. Yeah. Seems like this might be the better number. I'll have to do some more calculations a little later, guys, to kind of see. It looks like price doesn't really go into drawdown very much either. If you're doing yeah, we'll see. I'll have to look into it a little deeper, but it looks like because it would survive a lot of the drawdown, that opening spike, which kind of screws a lot of people. I'll have to look at the numbers here. It has all the trades listed from January 1st up until like the other thing that I would be looking at is just looking at the drawdown period, right? Two back-to-back losses, three back-to-back losses. If it has more than 4 to 5 back-to-back losses, then it's not a good It's not a good parameter for me. These are three back-to-back losses. It looks like this is actually pretty good because it never has about four back-to-back losses. It actually is. So there's an outlier. Sometimes from here, April 8th until April 15th, these had a couple losses. These had a couple losses right here, May 6th to May 12th. But overall, it looks like that number might be good. So it looks like the differential here is going to be basically between and I'll have to do a little more digging into this in calculations, but it looks like it's going to be between, I'm going to see compare 50 25 to 70 50. So I'll have to check it out. But we got the numbers there. All right, so with that being said, guys, there's nothing else here to take at the moment. As you can see, price broke past liquidity over here or structure. Price is pushing up higher. We don't really have any other entries here for us to take. Price is kind of pushing pretty high. Our analysis and our bias for today is playing out perfectly. So pre-market here, I told you guys price is probably going to be bullish, and that's exactly what's happening here, right? We had an overall market structure of a bullish confirmation. So bullish on the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15, 30, 1 hour, 4 hour. Also looking over here at the overall trend. We also predicted that this was going to happen here as well because we did have an overall bullish trend with regard to the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 for short term, and then also in the higher time frames, 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour. So bullish confirmation over here across all of these time frames. And then we had bullish confirmation over here with regard to market structure. And then my market outlook for the day was the bias was medium conviction for slightly bullish. So everything here pretty much pointing towards a buy. If you guys remembered or if you guys got here early enough, I did tell you guys if you're looking to take entries, look for buys here. And it looks like if you took any buys here, you would have been pretty successful across the board. I mean, you could have just like, it's like throwing darts at the dartboard, right? Just kind of throwing out your buys there. And if you took any of these buys here, you would have gotten I don't want to say lucky, but basically you could have taken any buy here and you would have made profit on it. I'm currently in a swing position right now, so this is my swing position. I got in at 46 500 or 46 499. My swing position finally got filled. So I mentioned this the other day. I'm currently in profit 355 right now. Not super crazy. I'm going to be holding on to this maybe until the end of the day, or I might even get out a little early. But yeah, so I've been trying to get into the swing position for about 2 weeks now. I got in right here at the price that I wanted to at 46. It was supposed to be 46 500, but I got in at 46 499. So my swing position is currently running in profit. So it's a pretty decent Friday so far. My swing position's running in profit. I don't think my other positions here filled. Yeah, my NASDAQ one didn't fill. I should have moved it up a little higher. I could have got in right here at 24 500, and then my S&P position over here. Or ES. Also, I should have moved it up a little higher, but it's okay. Whatever. So I might have to either cancel these or I'll just kind of make adjustments to it. But my Dow position right here is currently running US 30 YM, whatever you want to call it. It finally got filled. I've been trying to fill this position for weeks now, and it finally got in right there. So, like I said earlier, guys, my bias here was a buy for, I mean, pretty much across the board, buy for short term, buy for long term. We did have the huge correction over here as we had this kind of dump yesterday. So price kind of dumped down yesterday, if you saw over here. It dumped down basically from yesterday up until Asia session, and then it came all the way back up. So if it does correct back up, I'm expecting price to come back to the all-time high, which is going to be higher than this point, right? We have liquidity sitting up here. So price has a long way to go to reach that point. Nice visual. So visual over here actually got the orb entry for 100 points. So solid work right there, visual, on catching that orb. I'm going to try to set up another back test with the orb. So I have the back test script over here for the breakout. I'm going to try to set it up for the orb as well. Yeah, I'll try to set it up. So Looking at this here, Talanji, so this is going to be a little bit of a problem for the because the win rate I think is not high enough. Let me what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to go to ChatGPT real quick and I'm going to ask, what's a good win ratio for a 1 to 1.5? It's at 53%. So yeah, I guess it's considered still good. It's not amazing, but it's like in the middle. See, like what's considered a good win rate. So 45-50 is like decent. It's a decent edge, slightly break above a break even. 50 to 55 is strong, but I might have to make some adjustments here to get it closer to like 50-60. One thing that we have to like factor in, and what I've been doing is I also have to remove the news days, or no, the holidays, and then also the big news days. So PPI, CPI, NFP, and FOMC. I already started my spreadsheet here. I don't have the totals here, but I have so these are all the entries that came up for 5 years. So I have every trade that has came up for this strategy from from 2020. So January 1st, 2020, all the way up until today, September 26th, 2025. I have every single entry which came up for the breakout here. The numbers here are pretty good though. So I did the math over here. It had 644 wins, 837 losses. Win ratio is 43.5%. This is the profit. It's crazy because this is a 5 year period, right? This isn't like a week or a month or even a year. This is 5 years. So from 2020 all the way down to 2025, it shows that the breakout strategy has been profitable. And if you look, so here are the numbers right here. So the numbers are right here. These are the point profits. So 32,200 minus 20,925. This is how many points you would have made over a 5 year period trading just to breakout every single day. This isn't including taking off holidays. So obviously the number will be higher if we take off the holidays and if we take off the high impact news events. So this is how much profit would be made with points. If you were to multiply this by contracts. So like 10 contracts times 5 times 11, 275. This would be about 563,750 per account within a 5 year period. If you're trading with Apex or something like that times 20, it's about 11 million, which is crazy. I mean, this is like if you were just applying it brainlessly, right? Taking the breakout every single morning with me with no, and these are like real data. It's not like I made up these trades. Like I pulled all the data from TradingView. There was about There was a total of, so in a 5 year period, you would have taken in how many breakouts? You would have taken 1,481 breakouts in a 5 year period. It's a lot of breakouts. A lot of breakouts, but long term, it works out really, really well. So that's why for me, this is why I'm sticking to the breakouts, guys. It doesn't matter if the breakouts are going to win or going to lose. I'm going to take the breakouts every single day because long term, it yields a profit, right? We have a real edge here applying the breakout. So pretty cool numbers there. I mean, it's crazy. Like once I figured out the back test for the breakout strategy, like the numbers are nuts because, you know, I would be super happy making this much in a 5 year period, right? Per account. And the thing is, I'm trading with a hedge fund now. So like with my hedge fund clients, my main goal is to make everybody profit every every day, right? Or not every day, but every week, every month. So if I can make a consistent profit, like say for example, I have, I don't know, like 100 or 200 hedge fund clients, this is how much profit I would make per account times 100. So like within a and this is, this is all hypothetical. So don't shoot me for this, but basically, this over here shows that if I have like 100 clients, like say I have 100 hedge fund clients and I make this much money for them over a 5 year period, 56 million, and I take a little cut of it, right? I just take a haircut of the profit. Like say I keep 10% of this. So I keep 10% of this times 10%. Like this is all my take home basically, which is a lot. It's a lot of money, right? It's a lot of money to be, it's basically free money because the thing is I'm going to be trading my own account. So I'll be trading myself, but I'm also going to be trading for all these other people. So it's a nice free money right there for me. So that's uh that's why I'm focusing mainly on the breakouts here, guys. You know, you can't argue the data here. Like if I was to show you a spreadsheet, this could be fake data, right? If I was to make a spreadsheet here, I could be very biased with what entries that I decide to include on here. But showing you a back test where there's no and there's and this is like the thing is like you have to factor this down a little bit more because it takes into account every single trade. So if you look at the list of trades here, it takes every single trade, right? It doesn't have any bias here. It doesn't matter if there's news. It doesn't matter if it's a holiday. It takes every single trade here. Um, and then this is going to be really strong because, you know, if I was to do this here, like I could do the entire history. So we could go from December 1799 to today, September 26, 2025. I don't know how accurate this is going to be, but I'm just kind of curious now. Yes. So the profitability here is pretty crazy. So I have the data here. This is the data of my breakout strategy from December 31st, 1799. I don't even know how far back that was, but basically I have all the data here that's available. This accounts for 5,656 trades and it's still profitable. Right? That's how crazy this is. Like you can go back super, super far. I account for this is a sample size of 5,656 trades. This includes trading on holidays. It includes trading on high impact news event days, and it's still profitable. That's why I'm pretty much going all in on this breakout. Like I don't even care about other strategies anymore because because the numbers are crazy. I mean, it's insane. Like how could you I can't refute this. This is basically a guaranteed profitability long term. And if I was to do the math of these trades here, so again, we'll do the math. There's no entries here right now, so don't worry, guys. There's nothing to take right now. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hop into the chat. If you guys want to take a high-low break and retest, there's a possible high-low break and retest coming up right here. Entry is going to be at 46,643. So entry is going to fill right here. This is why I don't like taking these entries that are too far out because, you know, just like I mentioned, they're too far out. So this could be a bit of some overextension. So if you guys want to take the high-low break and retest right here, you can take you can get into this. It's currently running. Again, like I said, I don't really focus mainly on these I don't really focus on these continuation moves anymore because I'd rather just put all my money in on the breakout because the breakout just makes sense to me. I have the data and that's for and here, see this is what's been screwing me pretty much every month for the past 3 months. It's like catching these continuation moves and then the fake out. I'm okay with losing on the breakout. Like I'm okay if the breakout loses because I know it's gonna win at some point. But with these continuation moves, this is why I skip, you know, I would have skipped this trade here. It's overextended. Price is overextended and now it's going back and forth. This is literally what's been happening every day for the past 3 months. So 6:30 up until 7 o'clock, we have this directional move. It's 7 o'clock now. What do you expect to happen? Sideways market, right? No change right here. All right. So with that being said, Frenchie, Nick said it takes dedication to train brainlessly. I know, Nick. I know it does take dedication because like also you're going to be eating losses, right? So for example, if I lost a trade today, I would have been okay with it. Like for example, I won this trade, but if I would have lost this trade today, I would have been okay because the data shows that eventually this is going to go on a win streak, right? Right now, if you took the trade, it looks like some people won, some people lost. It's one of those trades where I consider it like it's the cost of doing business, right? We have the stats to show that eventually it's going to be very, very profitable, or it's going to be profitable in an instance. So taking losses for the breakouts, I'm okay with that because I know in the long term, I look at my list of trades here. There's going to be some downwards, basically drawdown, right? We have like there's going to be times where you have like four back-to-back losses, but then after that you have four back-to-back wins, um, etc. So yeah, there's no entries here right now. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Let's see. We do have a couple questions over here. Let me scroll up real quick. Sorry, Brock, I just saw your message. Yeah, Brock said it's at Wednesdays, point of control. Be a good time to take profits if you enjoyed the upwards trend. Yeah, I agree with that too, 100%. Talanji said, I'm thinking to remove Mondays, very complex, but the sweet spot exists somewhere. So I did do the math on that, Talanji. I actually have it right here. So I've been doing a lot of scenes behind the scenes work. So over here, I took off Mondays and Fridays. It actually doesn't make a big difference. It's better to just eat the losses on Monday and Fridays because there's more wins than losses. So if you're doing a 1 to 2, it makes more sense to just continue trading it. So like here's the numbers right here. So if you were to trade this whole from 2020 up until now, the profit right here would be 32,200 minus 2925. This is how many points you would make for the whole year if you traded basically every day. If you took off Monday and Friday, it'd be a lot less. So 20,000 minus 1240. Yeah, see, you're basically getting half the profit. So it's better to just trade every day, every like Monday through Friday versus taking off Monday and Friday because you're gonna make like half of the profit. You're basically giving away half of your profit potential if you decide not to trade on Mondays and Fridays. The caveat is on NFP, we wouldn't trade that. So like on some Fridays we wouldn't trade it because you can see over here, or where is it at? I mean, I already took them off, but I have a ton of spreadsheets here and I have them highlighted. Oh, actually, I might have them here. Okay, so these are see I have the Monday, Fridays here flagged. There's a lot of days where they actually hit. So this is Monday, Friday. These two would have hit, so you would have like basically missed out on this profit. There's a couple days that are gonna lose, of course, but there's more winning days than there are losing days. So it makes sense to just take every entry. Like, trust me, guys, I'm doing a lot of big behind the scenes work, like to make sure that this stuff was going to be very profitable in the long term. And I'm making my decisions based off like the data. Ben's asking, are you getting in market? Yeah, I have to get in at market. Unfortunately, I mean, I'd like to get in at limit, Ben, but it's not really possible because if you try to get in at limit and price spikes up. So for example, today, um, say for example, this thing spiked up and you're taking the buy. I mean, today it came down, but say for example, your entry was on this big green candle right here, right? If you try to get in at limit, it's never going to fill. And you basically would have missed out on the entire move. So I get in at market right at open. Ilana's asking, have you checked this strategy doesn't blow up funded accounts? Yeah, I did. And that's why Talanji mentioned as well. That's why I look at the losses in a row because depending on how many losses are in a row, that's how many trades you have to account for. So if you look over here, there's about four trades that are losses in a row. This means that you have to calculate your risk to lose five trades in a row. Like you have to be able to stomach the loss for five back-to-back losses. So for example, if you're trading a funded account, right? Say you're with Apex and you're doing a 300K account. Say your max loss is 7,500. You have to divide that by five. So every time you take a trade, your max loss is going to be 1,500, right? So you can stomach the drawdown. There's going to be some times where you might have more than four back-to-back losses, and yes, you're going to blow your account, but that's fine because you'll just do it over again, right? But if you look over here on the data, it doesn't really show that you have more than four back-to-back losses, right? This is why I'm doing like all these calculations and I'm trying to figure out what's the sweet spot, right? The sweet spot is really using a 5R basically drawdown max. Yeah, because you look over here, there's a lot of it happens maybe like once every couple months. So maybe once a month or once every couple months, there's gonna be a drawdown period where there's gonna be four back-to-back losses. This doesn't account for like I said, holidays, and it also doesn't account for heavy news days because we're gonna be avoiding trades during NFP, PPI, CPI, FOMC. and holidays. But if you go down the data here, I mean, you can't go down the data because you don't have this code. Unfortunately, guys, I'm not going to be sharing this code with you guys because this is all going to be proprietary. This is how I'm going to develop my edge. So I'm going to be keeping this to myself, but I'll show you guys the data if there's any specific data that you guys want to see. So again, right here, there's like some periods, right? So there's like this period over here in May. This was probably NFP though, because it's like the first week of May. So one of these trades probably would have been avoided or skipped. But most of the time, we don't really risk out on that much. So again, I'm gonna keep this custom range to, I don't need to go this far back. This is like way too far back. I think a good sample is gonna be basically for this year, right? A good sample is basically gonna be for this year. So this is a sample for the year. We don't have to go back like 20 years or whatever. Think we're good with this here. So that is pretty much where we have this data set. All right, guys, price is pretty much pulled back to open. So let me go over here and mark up the opening price. If you guys are still looking for entries, that's completely fine. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hop into the chat. I'll answer whatever questions you guys have, but it looks like price here is correcting back down to open. So we have price push here bullish, and that's coming back to open. We're just in this huge range now, this huge back and forth range. But if you guys have any ideas or you want me to test anything different with the breakout, let me know, right? I'm all ears. If you guys can help me improve my edge, that's going to be even better for you guys because I'm looking to try to increase this profitability. I'm currently like set at 53. It's a little bit higher because I haven't been able, well, I can't factor in the news trades and the holidays here. So this is probably be closer to like maybe 55, 56. Because I'd be taking out maybe like 20, 30 trades there based off news. Because you think about it, there's 12 NFPs, there's 12, and I can do the math here. So we have 12 NFPs, we have 12 PPIs, 12 CPIs, 12 FOMCs. So 12 times 4, basically I'm going to remove 48 trades or 48 trading days. And then on top of that, we have holidays, right? So maybe another 12. So basically 60 trades are going to be pulled out. And the profitability is probably going to go up higher because most of those trading days are losses for, trading holidays and what's it called and high impact news event days. Ross is asking, what take profit stop loss did you use in your study? 50-25. So what I've been using right now, Ross. I'll be fine tuning it. So like, every day after the live session, I'm probably gonna go and do some research to kind of see like what works better. Like right now, we kind of went over the stats that Talanji mentioned. Actually, this is for 75-50, but I'm currently using 50-25. So the profitability here is going to be at it's going to update right now, 52.11. Not a huge difference. Talanji said, I need to write all this down. You were cracking the code. Yeah, I agree. Talanji mentioned a 10 lot with 25 stop loss. You're risking 2,500 plus spread. 5 lot should be good. I just got to beat FOMO. Yeah, exactly, Talanji. So like you can go on a smaller contract size. I mean, for me, I'm basically going to be trading at like 5 contracts anyways. I'm going to scale up on a monthly basis. So like for example, uh, again, there's no entries here, guys. So I mean, if there's something you guys want to take, feel free. But there's just nothing here to take at the moment. So you guys are not missing out on anything here. 7:12 right now. So we're gonna see if price moves along from now until 8 o'clock. But yeah, so here's the thing, Talanji. Um, so I'll be increasing my risk on a like I said, on a monthly basis. So if we want to do the data, so say for example, we just want to see what it looks like for this month, right? So September 1st until September 25th, basically just 1 month of data. So this is how much profit I would be making applying a where am I contract size at? 10 contract, right? So I'll be at about like 9,950. So if I get above a certain point, if I break a threshold of about like 10,000 or whatever, then I'll increase the contract size a little bit. So like for example, if I'm on the five, if I'm doing contracts, if I make it above like a certain threshold, then I'll increase my contract size to like seven contracts, then nine contracts, then 10 contracts, etc. That's how it'll scale up um, regarding the contract sizing. So that's going to be the goal here for the breakout. I'm basically going to make profit and then I'm going to be withdrawing my profits from the profit counts basically on a monthly, if not biweekly basis. And then I'm going to be funneling that to my personal account and my personal accounts where I'm going to be doing the scaling. So I'm not going to be increasing my contract size on Apex or anything like that. I'll be increasing my contract sizes on my personal account. But yeah, the data right here is for a 50-25 TP stop loss. And I'll be playing around with this, guys. So we're probably not gonna always stay on the 10-minute. I might play around with it and go back to the 1 minute. Wherever the profitability is highest, I'll be trading on those specific time frames. So here I'll show you guys. This is the data over here that I have. So for the past 90 days, this is doing a 50-25 TP stop loss. So for the past 90 days, the 1 minute has yielded a 43% win ratio. Not super great. We want to stay above 50. The 2 minute gave a 47.69% win ratio. 5 minute gave a 38.46 win ratio. 10 minute gave a 58.46 win ratio. 15 gave a 52 and 30 gave a 51. So obviously I went with a 10 minute because this has a highest yield, right? For win ratio. This is within a 90-day period. So right here, I have it for the month. But you'll see previous months here did really well. So for example, over here to Laundry, like this month is I'd say this is kind of a weak month. We had 9,000 for September. If you look at August over here, so if you take the breakout every day in August, the profitability is more than double. 17,000 profitability is a little bit higher. And then if you wanted to go back even further, like say we want to see July, like all I'm doing here is I'm crunching the numbers, right? I'm not putting any like bias in the market. So look at July. If you took the breakout every day in July, you'd make about four times the profit. You make 45,000. And the profitability is almost 70% for July. So you'll see that every month is a little different, Solange. This is why I was saying like, I'm going to be increasing my contract size on a month-to-month basis because some months are going to be a lot better and obviously I can increase it. And then some months are going to be a little bit slower and I'm just going to leave it as is. I'm not going to increase my contract sizes because I need to scale the account properly, right? I'm not going to keep increasing my contract size like every single day or every single week, basically on a monthly basis because, July would have killed it, would have made 45,000. And then August would have did pretty good. And then this month, kind of slow. So that's why it's important to like have a game plan in play. And then, if you go a 90-day, so for 90 days, the previous one from June 28th up until today, uh, this is how much profit would have made. 79,050, profitability 60%. This is almost unicorn status for a 1 to 2 risk reward strategy. Like you don't really get a win rate that's this high. Maybe for a 1-to-1, but not for a 1-to-2. So yeah, I'm super excited to keep applying these breakouts. And if I ever have a loss for the breakout, that's fine because I know that the losses it's part of the game. You just have to eat the losses when they come up. But all right, guys, there's nothing else happening right here. I'm tired of getting caught up in this back and forth here. And that's why like I'd rather just get into my position here earlier than later. But there's nothing going on right here. Prices in this big range. If you guys have any questions or you want me to analyze anything specifically, feel free to let me know. I just don't see anything here happening at the moment. This is the opening price. Price is currently sitting at it. Looks like we're getting a possible fake out right here at this higher low. So price came down, faked out, pushed back up, and it's now currently sitting at the opening price. The only outlier here that I would say would be kind of tricky um, is like how market opened up today, right? So I think this is what's going to screw the breakout over a couple times. Like not a lot, not every single market open, but a couple times throughout the month or throughout the year is when we get this big spike, right? So market open right here. Let me just move this a little bit. See how we had a spiky candle here on open? This is going to happen sometimes. Like sometimes you're going to get these big spiky candles, and then, not everybody's going to have the same result for the breakout, unfortunately. But, like we talked about, that's the cost of doing business with trading. You have to just be able to accept the losses and accept the wins and move on to the next trade. So just something to keep in mind. I'll try to create a backtest script for the orb. The orb is a little more tricky. I know, Daniel, you were asking me to kind of put that together. I'll try to put it together to see if I can have some sort of some sort of data on that too. It's just going to be a little tough because of the parameters. There's a lot of factors that go into the orb. Yeah, there's too many factors because for the breakout, it's easy. It happens every day at 6:30, right? It's easy to spot because, if you look over here at the list of trades, it's just one trade every day, no matter what. For the orb over here, this is where it becomes tricky because there's not always going to be an entry, right? There's too many factors that go into play. One factor is, do you enter immediately on close? Do you enter on the retest? Do you cancel the order if it reaches target before it fills? Do you let it run? There's so many different factors here for the orb. That's why like the orb is a strategy that's going to be really hard to backtest. Like I'd have to create multiple back testing. Like I'd have to create one just for the close and I have to create one just for the retest and I have to create one for if it reaches a certain point, cancel the order. It's it's hard to test. Like it's hard to get like for my testing here for the breakout, this here is easy to test because there's only one entry. For the orb here, there's so many different opportunities, and then also there's so many factors to not take the orb. That's why it's going to be skewed. Like the data is going to be super skewed because obviously, depending on your risk appetite, this is why the orb isn't consistent with a lot of people, right? You see a lot of people complain about the orb because some people take them on the close, some people take them on the retest. There's going to be periods where you're going to miss entries and it's not consistent. That's why you see people who apply the orb, they're good for like maybe a week, maybe good for a month. Like even for myself, I applied the orb for like maybe a couple months. Um, but it's not a structured strategy where you can really get structured results because it's hard to like I mean it's hard to stay consistent to something like this, right? Especially if it's something that's like for example, if the break and retest doesn't work, it's so easy to switch to, just enter on close. And then as soon as you enter to on close, it's going to start losing and you're going to go back to the retest. So, we'll see. Yeah, Talanji City. I was thinking about the orb, but the way you take it is impossible to test. The close as a base should be good to test because others would be even more profitable. No, yeah. So depending on your risk appetite, the retest is going to be it's going to have the highest win rate because there's going to be less trades. For the close, there's going to be more trades, but it's probably going to be higher profitability because you're going to eat losses here and there, but you're also going to make a lot of wins here and there. So. Yeah, it's like a balance to launching. It's like, do you want to take every single trade or do you want to only go for the actual entry at? Yeah, it's just different. It's kind of based on that. Let's see. All right, so what else do we got here? Freddie's asking, what is POC based on that Barack mentioned? Was there a precise price given? POC stands for point of control. He uses time price opportunity, so TPO, market profile. Here's a market profile in the 30-minute. The point of control, this is a point of control from the previous day. So we had point of control, which is right here. It broke past it, pre-market. So this is the volume point of control right here. It's at 46,347. And then the other point of control that he mentioned was from a couple days ago. So this is today's point of control down here for market profile. This was the one from yesterday, and then this one was the one from the Wednesday. So the point of control from Wednesday is right here. Basically, the point of control, what Brock does is he trades based off volume. That's why he had price go up to that point right there. Or that's what he identified. He used previous day volume. This is where a lot of people are trading on Wednesday. This is what's considered balanced price. And that's why he identified that as a middle point. Because the point of control tends to be an area where price now it basically gravitates towards that area. So let's go back to market open over here at 6:30. So that point of control could have been identified already right here. I mean, this is the tricky part, right? You have the point of control from yesterday, price is right there. Next point of control is going to be up here. So if you're looking for price to push up higher, we had a bullish bias here. This lined up with Barack's analysis because it pushed up right to the same level that I had marked up there. So if you want to look at that, you would use the indicator TPO. There's specific settings that I use. You type in TPO. You need a premium account with TradingView though to have this. So it's called time price opportunity. And my settings are very specific because if you have all the settings in place, it's going to be really messy. But you can see here how my chart looks very clean because I have this here lined up. So for example, here, see how price is coming back down? If price drops any lower, the target area is going to be down here for this point of control. Like if you go back, you'll see price tends to push down to these point of control levels. Point of controls, value high, value low. For me personally, I don't like trading volume as much, so I might even just, hide the volume profile and just look at market profile. See how price comes back to these zones? They're not always going to respect it, but a lot of times they do. All right, so there's no entries here still, guys. Price is coming down lower. It looks like it's finally breaking out of this range and it's coming down past the opening price. We have price breaking past this lower low. It's currently at the sessions right here, so this can easily just bounce right back up. You can see a possible fake out right here and a climb right back up. See, question from Daniel. Daniel said, "Hey, Sean, just curious, how come the CSV you sent me entry is at 620?" Let me see, which CSV did I send you? Because none of the entries are at 620. It might be because it closes at 620. It's the 620 candle, right? It's on the 10-minute time frame. So the 620 candle starts at 620, but it closes at 630. So I think that's what you're seeing, but I think you just misinterpreted the data. Let me see, I can pull it up. Let's see where that spreadsheet is I gave you. Okay, just downloaded it. Yeah, it's because this is the close of the 620 candle. So I said 620 there. If you look at the actual entry, so like, if you pull up the actual entry on your chart, this is from, well, let's go to the most recent one. Okay, so this is on September 24th. See how the entry happened at 46689? I'm gonna go over there real quick to show you. It's because the candle opens at 620, but it closes at 630. So what was that date at? The 24th, right? Okay. So the 24th is right here. Okay, so I'm gonna mark up the opening candle. right? I'm gonna mark up 620 and I'm gonna mark up 630. So if you look at the spreadsheet, where's the entry at? The entry happens at 46,689, right? So where's the entry right here? 46,689. It's at 4690, but it's just a point off. So basically, yeah, wherever there we go. Because what happens is you're getting in on the close of the candle, right? So this is a 629 candle. The candle closed right there. That's where you take your entry, right? If you were to enter at 620, it just wouldn't make sense because, like you said, it says 620 because this is a 10-minute candle. It closes at 6. So basically, when the 620 candle closes, which is 629, that's where the entry happens. 46,689. And you look over here, where is the entry? 46,689. Right. Does that make sense? Okay. Yeah. Because you're on a 10-minute candle. So, you go to 10 minutes over here. Let me show you real quick. I know it's confusing because that's why I had to kind of play around with it to understand what the numbers meant. But if you go over here, again, let me show you. This is a 629 candle, right? So 629 candle or 620 candle, like we mentioned here, it enters on the close of the 620 candle, which is right there, and then the close of it is at 646, 689. So just think of it as 620 as like the end of that candle close. Okay, yeah, no problem, Daniel. I know it's confusing, but it I swear the data and the numbers are right. It's just the numbers with regard to time is different because you're trading off the 10-minute time frame. So, all right, guys. If there's any questions that you guys have, feel free to hop into the chat. 7:30 right now. There's not really too much going on. It looks like the fake out that I mentioned right here is happening. Price pretty much came down to the sessions. It faked out and it pushed right back above it. Yeah, if there's any other stats that you want me to look at with regard to the back test, I can look back on it. But for the most part, my current settings that I'm using is going to be 50-point TP, 25-point stop loss. The thing is, I'm just waiting for the market here to stop doing this like stupid like this chop on open. This is the worst part I think with the breakout is the chop on open is really what kind of throws us off a bit. Right? So see this right here? This is a huge chop. Like we're just looking at this opening candle. This doesn't always happen, right? This happened today on Friday, and then it happened again on Thursday yesterday, which is annoying because it's like, bro, I'm trying to get in this position, but it's been having this opening chop. So again, right here at 6:30, see the opening chop. It doesn't always have this opening chop. Like, let's go to like a random day. I'm just gonna go to like a day in September, like a random. Let's just go right here to this the I don't know, the 15th or whatever, or the 16th. So see over here on the 16th, it doesn't really have as much chop. It's more of just a directional push. Like this candle right here is a 6:30 candle. This over here kind of these two candles here kind of move back and forth. But I'm going to show you like let's just go to like a random day, a day where I'm trying to show you a candle where it doesn't spike around like that. Those spike around candles happen maybe like once a week or like maybe a couple times a week, depending on like what the news is for that day. The problem with this here is that as much as I'd like to avoid, so let's see, I try to avoid days with news. Like for example, today was a day with news, so this cut might have been a day to avoid that chop. But the thing is, we have news like almost every day. So again, right here, 6:30, same situation, kind of chops around a little bit. I think the week before this was like more of a consistent candle. It's Friday. Yeah, the issue is that there's news every day. So even if we want to skip news days, there's still going to be some morning movement. So this is from like Thursday the 11th. You can see how this one is a little bit of a smoother push. And you can't really tell from the data because the candle's just a little too big. But anyways, we'll I'm gonna try to do some more data digging on like what Talanji mentioned. Maybe we could do a 1.5 to 1, or yeah, basically a 1.5 to 2 or 1, and then we'll kind of see how that works in the long term. But there's nothing going on here. If you guys are looking to take more scalps, I mean, obviously price here is going sideways. I would wait for price to break out of this range here. Let me see if I can mark up some market structure here. This is our main chart, so I have some insight as to where the structure is currently sitting. Let me go over here real quick to this upper point. So we got resistance sitting up here. We have a support slash resistance right there, or support turn resistance. We have a resistance right here. We have a support right here. We have a support right here. And we have another support right there. All right, so I pretty much marked up market structure right here. We have an imbalance where price is currently, I mean, it's already confirmed, but I'll see if it holds. So I have an imbalance, which is right here. Price broke and retested it already. There we go. Yeah, so price broke structure right here, retest the imbalance right there, and it's continuing down. It's currently in a range right now, so price is just going back and forth between this range. But this is a confirmation of imbalance. So if that's the case, price may continue dropping. We don't know how long or for how far it's going to drop, but that's just kind of where it's at this very moment. Um, but yeah, if there's any questions you guys have, feel free to hop into the chat. Otherwise, we'll keep watching this here and we'll kind of see where it goes. But right now, there's nothing to work with right now. Just kind of taking it as is. All right. Yeah, price here is kind of just sitting around the support level. If you guys are looking to take some entries here, I would look for price to break and close past structure. Possibly look for a break and retest off this lower low. I think ideally that's kind of what I would look for the most part. There's technically, yeah, I mean, I would just wait for this. What you'd have to wait for here is you'd have to wait for a confirmation of a high. So we have a lower low right here. The problem with this lower low is that it hasn't established a high. So we need to establish a high first for it to confirm this low. So if it does break below it, you can look for that break and retest. Yeah, we'll see. Let's see. Daniel's asking, did you do data on the 3060 for breakout already? Yeah, we did that yesterday. Here, I'll show you real quick. So here's the data. Again, we're trying to stay above and I'll do it for the year. I think ideally we want to have the data for a year to see how it's been running. So again, we want to stay above a 50% win ratio, right? Because if you're doing a 1 to 2, it's going to make sense to keep it above 50%. If you can keep it above 50%, you can stay profitable. You need to stay above 33% to be profitable in general. So looking at this right here, take profit 60, stop loss is 30, update the report. Again, we want this to stay above 50. It's still above 50, so it's at 51.58. We can do the analysis here again. So let's just do the numbers. Just break it down real quick. So 98 times 60, 92 times 30. So 5880 minus 2760. It's 3120. So 10 times 5 times 3120. Profitability is actually pretty good. It's at 56. Yeah, it's basically at 56. So I was trying to see if I have the numbers here. I can't remember what the numbers were for. Okay, so we're at 56,000 for 4060. Again, I'm always going to benchmark it to like what I'm doing right now. So let's just benchmark that again. I'm going to do this again. Quick math equation. You guys can see I've been doing these math equations for like a while, so I can do it pretty quickly. So 99 times 50, 91 times 25, 4950 minus 2275. 2678. Okay, so do the math there again. So 10 times 5 times 2675. Okay, so looking at that number right there, Daniel, that's actually a better number. So maybe I might shift to 60/30. I mean, the data there looks good. I'm gonna put this in my notes because I think I should, I should probably do some more. Let me see. I'm gonna just put this in my to-do list for today. I'm glad that you guys are bringing up these questions because this is helping us improve our edge for the breakout. If you guys have any more ideas, feel free to put your ideas in the chat, guys, because I'm always looking for ways to make more money, right? Even if it's a small percentage or if it's a little bit more profit, I'm always looking to make more money here with regard to profitability, right? If I can increase the profitability even by like a couple $1,000s, I'm all for it. So I'm gonna just put some notes here, run data and profitability for 50/25. What was the other number? 60/30. And the big one was 75/50. Ideally, I would like to keep it at I'm kind of curious now. Ideally, I'd like to keep it at a 1 to 2 if possible. I mean, obviously, you can't have the best of both worlds always. It's always going to be kind of tricky. But I'm kind of curious now what the profitability is going to look at with this. I know the win rate's a little lower, but I'm kind of curious to see because the bigger the stop loss, the better. Honestly, I think that's going to be the big thing for us because it's going to give us more leeway for like these choppy markets. So 85 times 100, 105 times 50. So 8,500 minus 5,250 is 320. So 10 times 5. You know what? Looking at the numbers here, I think the higher the 150 might be even better. Here, let's do the math again for the other one. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. There's nothing to take here right now. You can see prices going back and forth between the opening price. So you kind of want price to push away from this opening price right here. Basically, what happened here is price mitigated this imbalance. So this imbalance is no longer valid. We're just back and forth between this range. So until we have something happen here, I'm going to keep running some data numbers here. Again, I'm kind of curious to see. Let's go back and take a look at the 80/40. I'm just trying to get the best possible settings in place. I'm going to do this again by myself after, so I just wanted to do this with you guys to kind of see. Again, I'm just running the same equation, 92 times 80, 98 times 40. And I'm using the same contract size because this is just going to show you guys how much profitability is going to be possible with these specific numbers. So again, 10 times 5 times 3, 440. The numbers are actually getting better. So I'm gonna so the thing is with the win percentage, yeah, it does have leeway, but the numbers are actually better for this here, Talanji. Like although the win ratio is a little lower, it looks like the profitability is actually better. What I'm looking for is I'm trying to have as wide enough of a range as possible to still be highly profitable. So 80/40. The other one, so okay, this is going to be pretty far out, but I'm curious to see for this as well. So this is going to be 100 or 200 to 100. I know the win ratio is going to suck, but I'm curious to see what the profitability is for this here. Ideally, I think this is probably going to be the best number. I think 100 to 200 because you'll have enough space here. So 76 times 200. And I don't want to overfit it. So the thing here is I also don't want to overfit the strategy where I have too much criteria, too many factors times 100. Yeah, because I want a bigger stop loss. The bigger the stop loss, the less losses, and then the more profitability long term. So 5, 15,000, 11,300. I'm looking at this here now, and I think this might be even better. Yeah, so the numbers, yeah, okay. I think this might be the one. Again, I'll have to do some actual math and calculations with this. This is a big target though. 200 points is a big target, but you'll be able to survive a lot of drawdown because this is what I'm trying to get out of, right? So like let's go over here back to the breakout for today. You know how people got screwed here. Some people got lucky and some people got unlucky, right? The thing is if we took this trade here with a bigger TP stop loss, right, with 200 to 100, this would be a little more balanced in a sense. Like, yeah, you're gonna have sometimes these trades are gonna take forever to hit, but you're gonna have a better balance here. I'm like really curious now to see if this here, let me check the stats because the stats are gonna give me the trades anyways. See, the problem with doing this though is you're gonna have more drawdown periods, I think. You're gonna have more winning periods, but you're also gonna have more drawdown periods. There's gonna be more losses. Here, let's see. I'm gonna go over here, kind of have an idea. I'm just gonna add the back test to here. It's easier to have it on here. Where's my thing at? Oh, it's under my. There we go. Oh, see, the cool thing is that we already have a strategy in place, and now I'm just kind of playing around with the settings to see which one has better profitability in the long term, of course. I'll use the add-on. Change colors here a little bit. Yeah, so like we were talking about right here. So again, same thing. Entry would have happened at 30. Yeah, so I mean this trade's still at a loss. So this is where it's going to be a little tricky because if the stop loss is too far out and too wide, you kind of have to weigh the pros and cons. A lot of these trades are going to be running forever, or a lot of times you're going to get caught in a choppy market and you're going to end up losing the trade. Like there's a little bit of a losing streak right here because the target was just way too far out. But then again, you have times where yeah, I think the 100, 200, it's just it's too far out. Yeah, I don't know if I'd be able to do that because you're going to eat more losses for sure. Long term, it's going to be good, but you're going to eat more losses for sure in a lot of days. Like you'd have to take these with very, very low risk. Like maybe not even 10 contracts. You'd have to do with like two contracts to be able to survive this drawdown. But there's going to be days like this where it does hit like 200 points and days like this where it also hits. Yeah. I'll have to go and test this on my own, guys. There's no entries right now. Again, if you guys are looking to take anything, we're stuck within this range at the moment for the current market structure. Price is finally breaking below the structure here. If you guys are looking to take that high-low break and retest, it looks like it's currently active. It initially just broke out of the range there. So if you guys want to take that there, this would possibly be an entry. So it is currently running right now. Let's see. PC said in order for these stats to apply, you have to stick to the rules and eat drawdown. If the drawdown is too much, then you're risking too much and you need to reevaluate your scaling plan. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what I'm doing. That's why my risk is always going to be about the same. It's just talking about like where the stop loss is placed to like prevent yourself from getting stopped out too early, which seems to be the case here with the breakout, right? Because the breakout sometimes you get like this big spike on open. That's why for me personally, I'd rather have a wider stop loss, lower risk, of course, but wider stop loss to prevent getting caught up in the chop. Yeah, so Andrew said the problem is the drawdown for prop accounts on these big TP stop loss trades because realistically, no matter the TP stop loss, you can't change how much you're risking. For prop accounts, you probably want to stick with the highest win percentage. Yeah, and I agree with you too, Andrew, 100%. That's why for me, I think right now the current settings are probably the most ideal because it's tight enough to get in and out of the position quickly, but it's not too tight to get stopped out too early. So I think we'll keep it at 25, at 50, 25 for now. And then, I'll kind of tweak it a little bit. I think going up to 100 might be a little too far out. I'm not in this position right here, guys. I'm just going to delete it. So see how this here again faked out? This is why I'm moving. Well, I'm not really moving away from applying these strategies, but I'm being very selective on these continuation moves. Because the thing is, for the past 3 months, you guys see how the market's been moving. It's been very choppy, right? That's why I try to get into the breakout that happens earlier in the session rather than trying to get into the continuations later because it's so much easier to get caught in these fake outs and getting screwed, right? Back and forth. Yeah, and Solange said he agrees. Profitability beats the win ratio though, with a 2-to-1 anyway. Yeah, exactly. That's why for me, I'd rather do the math. Um, like I know the win ratio is cool, but I would rather do the math on the actual trades that hit and the trades that lose. Because doing the actual math on like how many trades win and lose are going to give you a good idea of like how much you can make, right? And the way that I do this calculation here, if you guys are wondering how I did this calculation, is basically I look at the trade analysis. I look at how many winning trades hit because every winning trade is going to be for 50 points, right? Because their target's 50 points. So 99 trades times 50 points. This is how much profit it would have made with every trade taken. There's 91 losses. So 91 times 25 because that's how much you would have lost per trade. And then this is how I did the equation, right? I subtracted the losses by the wins. So basically 45,950 minus 2,275. And that would be the profitability with regard to points, right? And if you're doing a small account, like you're doing a 50K account, 5 times 5 times 2675, this is how much profitability you can see per account. But for example, if you're trading 20 Apex accounts, 20 50K accounts, you multiply this by 20. See, this is 1 million, 1.3 million basically for the whole year from January up until the 25th. And then looking over here at the list of trades, like I said, you want to base your losses by 5 trades, right? So that you don't blow the account. Because if you look at the stats over here, it almost never goes more than 4 back-to-back losses. A lot of times it doesn't even go to 4 back-to-back losses, but like every couple months, you're going to have a drawdown period, right? Right here, it's 4 back-to-back losses. I don't look at the net P&L because this isn't going to be accurate. I just look at whether it wins or whether it loses. So again, right there, the last drawdown period was in April or August. And then the next drawdown period was in June. So between June and August, there was only one drawdown period. Between June and May, there was one drawdown period. Between May and April. So it seems like maybe once a month there's going to be a drawdown period. But again, you have to take into consideration the fact that this doesn't factor in heavy news days like NFP, PPI, CPI, FOMC. It also doesn't factor in holidays. So if you guys look at these losses, a lot of these losses happen on news days or holidays, right? Like first week of February right here, this is probably an NFP day that would have been skipped. So. All right, guys, it is about to be 8 o'clock. If there's any other questions that you guys have, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Market has not done anything here. Again, this is another reminder of why I'm kind of sticking mainly to breakouts. So this isn't going to be the case forever, right? In the case that the market starts to move directional again, like it used to in the past, then okay, maybe I'll look for some scalps. I might have like one account where I just scalp on there. However, for days like this, where the market's not really doing too much, um, in a situation like this, it just makes sense to just focus on the breakouts in the morning, especially if you have proven profitability in the long term. So, yeah, Talanji said if you don't take profits like 6 months, you can build this into crazy numbers with a two to one on a prop firm account. Yeah, exactly. So my strategy for this breakout, guys, for prop accounts is so there's two ways of doing this, right? There's either you're gonna take payouts whenever possible. So every month or every 2 weeks, you're gonna take a payout, and then you're gonna move that to your personal account. This is what I'm doing. Every 2 weeks or every month when I can get a payout, like if I reach that threshold, I'm gonna take all those profits and I'm gonna move it to my personal account. For my personal account, that's where I'm gonna scale with contract sizing. So basically on a 50K account, I'm only gonna use 5 contracts. Um, but the numbers over here. So these numbers right here are they show you that if you were to just take payouts every single month, right? So like for example, here this is 20 accounts for the year so far. We're currently in September, so 9 months. You divide this by 9. So this is basically how much profit you can make, maybe almost 6 figures on a monthly basis, basically. I mean, not every month's going to be the same, but you can take these payouts out and then you can move this to your personal account and then scale on there. That's kind of what I've been doing for this time period anyways. Like basically for my prop accounts, I don't treat my prop accounts as as a piggy bank, right? So I don't like your idea, Talanji, to like build up those prop accounts. I think it's better to just flush out the accounts. Like if you blow the prop accounts, that's fine. Blow the accounts, but transfer that money to your personal account. Because the thing is, you don't know when the prop account's going to deny your payout, right? They might deny your like you might have a ton of money in that account. Like you might build it up to like $1 million or whatever. And next day, right, Apex might say, "Hey, Solange, you're doing some weird stuff on your account. We're not going to pay you out, and I'm gonna you're never going to get this payout, right? So for me personally, the way that I would say to use the prop accounts is treat it as a vehicle to make money. So with the prop accounts, all you should probably do is make money on those prop accounts, make the withdrawals, and then move that money to your personal account. Because when it's in your personal account, that's your money. It doesn't matter, right? Get the payouts, move it to your personal account, scale the personal account. Don't focus on, oh, I'm gonna be a professional prop trader. That doesn't make sense because the prop account, these prop companies can take that account from you in an instant. So yeah, exactly. So that's what Andrew said too. He said probably the safest way to do it is in case the prop firm goes away. Yeah. Not to say these prop firms are going to go away, but they can't be trusted. Honestly, it doesn't matter which prop firm you're using, they can't be trusted because eventually they're going to find a way to not pay you out. And at least at that point, you're going to have all of this money banked into your personal account. And you can just keep trading on your debt. At some point in the future, you might not even need these prop accounts. You'll just keep trading on your personal, and then you can scale on there. Sam said, nice. So did we win the breakout today? Yeah. So for the breakout today, it hit. I mean, it depends on the entry for certain people. Like for me, my breakout over here did work out because my entry, I got a better entry actually. Market open right here at 620 or not 620, 630. So I mean, it kind of depends on where people got in from. So let me go to the 1 minute so I can show this on a better scale. We all entered like around the same time. Some people entered earlier than others. My buy entry actually happened down here at 646, 428. So, um, if you would have gotten exactly where the entry was right here at 629 or 630, you probably would have hit your stop loss. But because my entry was so much lower down here at 46, 428, I got like prime entry. This is the downside of taking the breakout is that some people will get better entry, some people won't. Um, and that's kind of what happened today, unfortunately. Some people got it, some people didn't. For the most part, it looks like majority of people here did get it though. So yeah, tricky. It's the magic right there, Sam. The magic. Somehow I ended up getting in way lower than opening price, but it happens. That's just how the market is sometimes. But all right, guys, if there's any other questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. If you guys want to message me on Discord, if you guys have any ideas, you know, this is going to be beneficial not just for me, but it's going to be beneficial for you guys too. Uh, it's going to be beneficial to if you guys have any ideas, because the more ideas that you guys have, the more testing I can do on the specific strategy, and the more testing I do, the better the strategy will be, right? We'll have the ideal TP stop loss, we'll have the ideal time frame, we'll have the ideal everything basically. Sam said, what time should we get in? You got to get in exactly at price. Um, the problem is there was a lot of volatility on this pre-news pre-market candle, basically the 629. This thing was like spiking back and forth right before market open. The people who won the trade, they got in exactly when market opened up. Smith over here, I don't know if he's still on here, but Smith, unfortunately, he got in 5 seconds earlier, and that's why he ended up getting a loss because he ended up getting in like when price was going back and forth here. So um, I would say, Sam, if you're going to get into the breakout, get in exactly on open. Like literally wait for that split second and then get in. Um, because if you get in too early, you're gonna get shitty price, of course. I think what happened with Smith is he got in like a little bit higher, like up here, because he got in 5 seconds before market opened up. So he got in like up here and he ended up getting stopped out, of course. I got in, like I hit sell or I hit buy immediately when it hit the market open, and I ended up getting in for a super big discount. It's not always going to work out in your favor, but your odds are better if you wait until the market's actually open. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up again. If you guys want me to run some tests, like for example, if you want me to put your own account settings here. Because the thing with this here is I can like kind of show you what are the possibilities of your profitability long term. Like for example, if you started with a $12,000 account, right? I can show how your account would float. So this is basically from January 1st until September 25th, or like basically today. So looking at this over here, this is basically the profitability, right? If you started from January 2nd, which is the first day of trading, you'd build your account from where it started to positive 8,000, positive 13, positive 17. There was a win streak that happened initially the first 3 days, then a couple losses here, nothing too big, and then another win, couple losses, couple wins, etc. If you're curious to see like how big your account would grow from like basically January 2nd until today. Sam said, okay, we're still testing. We'll get it right. No, the testing is already done. We already have the numbers here, Sam. So the numbers are already set. I mean, we have all of the numbers here. So we're using a 50-25 TP stop loss. The thing is, we're already done with the testing. We're improving now. So it's just refining the strategy. The market's not always going to be the same. So like sometimes a wider TP stop loss might be better if the market's choppy or if it's super rangy or if it's like very volatile. Right now, we have the settings set. We currently have this, this is the year data. It's at a 52.11% win ratio for 190 trade sample. But I did the so I'm assuming you weren't here earlier, but we did the data from 2020. So this is a 5-year data set. So the stats work good long term. There's obviously going to be drawdown periods, but long term, this is a sample of 100, or sorry, a sample of 1,481 trades. This is a really big sample for a 1 to 2, and the profitability is still 43%. Anything above 33% is profitable. So this is a basically the edge is 13.48. That's a pretty good edge for a 1 to 2, right? I mean, you would know that because you trade a 1 to 2 sometimes. So like this edge here is very strong. The profit factor here, I don't really base it off the P&L, but I base it off the win rate. So yeah, it's just improving. So we have the stats already. We're just now improving with better settings, like slight tweaks. But all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up on Discord. Otherwise, that's about it. So if you guys have any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, have a great weekend, guys, and I'll see you guys back here.